All right, welcome back everyone to another Draft Champions League interview. Tonight I am joined by just one manager of the Slaying Girlbosses, Sylvie. Please introduce yourself and kind of let the audience know a little bit about yourself and your history with competitive Pokemon, and if you can speak on behalf of Gary as well.
Hello. It's a tragedy that Gary cannot be today here, but I will try to make up for that as much as I can. For the people who don't know Gary, since he's like very recently only joined the draft scene, playing like started to play like 1-2 years ago with like players who have already made their marks in the Smogon scene with good effort. He's like also very crowned in the Smogon scene, just recently winning the World Cup of Pokemon with Team Spain and have himself two SCL championships trophies and one Grand Slam. And I think I can say like just being a recognizable player for his own. For me, I'm still relatively new to Smogon. This is actually my rookie year on this side. And before that, I actually played Raft since 2016, if I'm not lying, but rather with like friends groups. And then, like 2020, I started playing like in bigger German groups, and eventually made it my ways to Smogon.
Sounds like you both are pretty well versed in your respective disciplines on like Smogon and obviously with you in draft. I also was I started draft around 2016, mainly with like friend groups. So it's kind of cool to hear someone have like a very similar origin and time frame. But yeah, we can move on to the next topic. So I guess moving into the season, this is your first time dealing with captaining or managing for a draft team tour. So, what kind of realistic expectations have you set for yourself going into this season?
Going in, I think I had like good like ground knowledge, but I recognized myself that I was lacking information about the player base. So I already heard it's not rumored or because it's true, but it's already spread around that I messaged over like 100 people on the player sign up sheet to
Damn.
like get myself an opinion on the player base. So I think I did my homework pretty well. And as the day of recording, today is the draft, so I feel like excited and I'm confident. And my goal is not only but I share the same goal with Gary. We would like to win the whole tournament. And I think it's also in the bound of reality and expectations.
100 people is a is a lot of people to
Oh,
DM.
it's more than 100.
That I don't think I've ever heard of a captain doing that, like that many people before. I mean, I've yeah, that's impressive, and it really shows how much you're invested in trying to craft the best team for yourself, and obviously to create some type of culture for all the teammates that you'll eventually have. But yeah, it's great to hear that you're invested so much. Um, yeah, moving on to the next topic here. So you should be at this point be familiar with the DCL format, that including the 5 tiers of Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, ORAS, and Scarlet Violet BGC Regulation D. So those are the 5 tiers that you're going to be playing with. So what are your thoughts on those tiers of play being chosen, and then I guess the DCL format as a whole being very similar to what Smogon does for their team tour formats?
So this will be my first auction in a tournament, like from the manager perspective. So it's like obviously very exciting, not being the player praying to get picked. So I'm hyped that something like in draft, like a tour in draft has like the possibility to do that. I think the format is like really cool. It's actually my favorite format from the tournaments I played so far. Find the idea like drafting a team for like slots plus one reservation team, so you can like mess around, toss ideas every week. It's like very creative, and it also brings a lot of flexibility. And so this is like why I like it. For the slots themselves, I think it's a wide representation. I like that, like SS, for example, has 2 slots since I think I played very no, I don't think I know for sure I played a lot of SS drafts. So um I'm excited that this format has more representation than, for example, Uzum or Auras, but there are also 2 formats that are like very popular. And 3 SV slots I think is like the right number for the current gen. VGC2C is very cool, even though I'm not that invested in that scene, but it's nice representation for that. My only critic for the format would, I think there's lacking national decks, since I, like at least for myself, I played a lot of national decks draft, SS and SV, and it's a lot of fun. And after Uzum, the cut of the the Pokédex and also the introduction of cut moves, it's like with Nationals, you have like a completely new format which is very different, and I proposed that in the thread, but it didn't get much support. I also didn't like talk about it that much. I only like mentioned it briefly, but it's like only a very very lightly loss, and I think the format is great. The auction, the drafting process, and then the playing progress with the slots they chosen. Also, 8 slots is a good number. So yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I know with like national decks from like the draft side, I think the reason it gets a lot of pushback in tours is because it's not technically the official decks of the game that people actually play with. So they try to stick to strictly the whatever the game decks is. But I do think national decks adds a little bit more diversity and access to mons that people normally enjoy using and would rather not have been cut, especially with Mega Evolutions. I believe does NatDex currently still use Megas in Gen 9? I'm not too familiar.
I mean, I didn't. I mean, Smogon draft doesn't have like any national decks drafts. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But for the ones I played, we had Mega Evolutions. Even though in my most recent one, I didn't even draft one since I didn't have space on my roster.
Yeah, I think with like the power creep this generation, just overall, I'm not sure if some of the Megas are even, I guess, as valuable as they used to be. But again, I'm not too familiar with NatDex overall this generation. But yeah, I guess. Oh, yeah, you can continue.
Oh, I just want to like briefly, since like I have like some Ashodex expertise. I think Megas are like still in good place, especially like the ones on the higher end, but on the lower end they always like end up lackluster with like some exceptions, so it's not worth picking them up. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that since Megas are cool, says the Auras player.
Yeah. So you mentioned you are primarily an Auras player. Is that what you just said?
I mean, like for the standard player, the overused tier, I like to play Auras, and also the underused tier, and I just love Auras as a generation, their mechanics. So I would say I'm like a current gen and an Auras player.
Respect it. I too very much like Auras as well. Yeah, I guess we can move on to the last few type of topics. But if you were to describe yourself and your style of managing, or your foreseen style of managing, since this is your first time, and if you were to describe yourself in one word, what would that be?
Let me think for a second.
No worries.
Actually, it's not quite my first time on the World Cup for Team Germany. I did a lot of things, like as an unofficial third manager, so I have like experience doing that. But with that in mind, and in mind what I expect to do, I think a good word would be hard work.
Hardworking. All right.
Yeah, I think that's a good word to describe me as a manager, or like what I expect for the manager to be.
Is there a kind of like a level of expectation that you want from like your teammates or the people that you end up drafting? Like, what type of support level or like team environment do you want from your team?
I mean, I think the most important thing is like environment. Like I didn't play I didn't play like for like years, but in the 1 year I played so far Smogon. I reckon the teams that have like better environment tend to do like better, since my dream is like if my players opens like the Discord server, he's like instantly motivated to do like stuff there. Like I don't need to ping people to do stuff. Like they just like the draft format, the teammates around them, and also like the general like vibe in the server. So they just do stuff because they have fun. So this would be like um that would be like the optimal atmosphere. So for what I expect to bring like motivation to play. Like I'm not a fan of drafting like just players who like say pass me the team. We talk again on Sunday. I'm not a huge fan of that attitude.
Hmm.
So I made sure that I tried to sort those players out with like talks or like with just my past knowledge. And I don't think you have to like engage that much with others. So like for the ones who like to be like quiet for their own reasons, I'm like not forcing them to talk, but I think like at least for your own preparation, you should be like transparent to like a decent level for your teammates and like for us, like for Gary and me as well. But if you just do your thing and like try to socialize in the internet space a little bit, and like try just to like create a good atmosphere, being that by winning, by helping, by just chilling, or whatever your own preference is, I think if it adds up all together, and it makes a good team.
Yeah, I definitely agree with my captaining experience. You definitely want to have, you know, as a captain, you want to recognize all the strengths of your players, all their tendencies, figure out how you can best help them in different ways. And obviously, you can't force people to be more active than they're actually capable of. But you definitely want to make them feel encouraged to step out of or step over those boundaries at times to kind of explore. I guess, yeah, in a way, kind of like develop and explore and improve their own skill set, whether that be team support, um, team communication, like reception to feedback, criticism, and all that. Um, Replay analysis. Even as a captain, you can go through a replay, kind of explain all the turns to kind of project um, improvement to all of your players. But you basically answered my next question, which was, what do you look for the most when drafting a player to your type of team? You kind of just explained that for me, so I'm gonna go right.
I mean, I can follow up a bit since like I had like wait, when is this releasing? Is this released after the auction or before?
I'll probably I'll probably release it before. I'll probably finish
Okay,
editing and
then
stuff.
I'm a little bit more like considerable. My English, I'm sorry.
Conservative.
Conservative. Thank you very much for helping. About like what I can say, like since this is releasing before the big auction, but I am looking into players who are like just also fine with the place we see them. I asked a lot of players like which format they would prefer, or if they would be fine with benching if we like don't have necessarily space, or like if we like put them like more in the if we expect them to go higher, we also expect them obviously for a better record to go. So I'm trying to be with my players I have interest as transparent as I can be. So they don't have to be surprised when they join the roster, and they know what they expect. So I don't want to hide anything, or like, oh my god, they went like 0-2 and they will never play again. I don't like that. So if like that situation comes, from my talks with them, I think I have like a good grasp how to deal with like misfortune for the players, or like also which players I expect to do great in the tournament. I think um the best thing a player should bring for me is like motivation, a skill set, and the just fun for like learning and winning.
Yeah, it's very encouraging to hear. kind of your perspective on captain and how you want to deal with your team from a captain's perspective. I very much enjoy hearing your thoughts there. But yeah, I guess we can move on to the last question. And that's just simply about the auction. Like, how confident are you going into the auction? Obviously, you reached out to over 100 different people via DMs to get more information, do your research on the Draft League community, or I guess the broader Draft League community on Discord. Do you have any like reservations going into it or concerns still? And yeah.
Oh my god. To be honest, I'm semi freaking out. For reasons I cannot tell. Like for like at least on this podcast. But I feel like a little bit stressed, even though I think I did like good homework. But also, like, I think the audience can also agree. Even if you study for tests very well, it doesn't like auto translate into a good result. So after like stressing me out for like a good amount of time, I think we have like a good foundation of the final team we want to have. And if something goes wrong, like a player goes like for too much, or like at the positive side, the player goes for too low than we expect, and then we can like adapt with more pricier things. I think we just will do that on the like a freestyle. I have like a lot of notes to like adapt, so I think it will be chaotic, but I think it will be like organized chaos. So it will be a ride of emotions. I can guarantee that for myself.
Yeah, especially with it being on Showdown compared to Discord. I believe everything is automated with a bot, like the timer and everything.
Yeah.
So it should be a lot quicker, but it also gives you less time in between like nominations and like when prices are coming in. So it will definitely be harder on all the captains, even the ones that are used to like the Discord auctions. They're gonna have less time to be able to adapt if people end up going for more than they expect, or obviously if they're less, then they're like, should we take a chance on this person and get them because this is criminally, an underpay. But yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes, and I know you're nervous, but I think you're gonna do perfectly fine. And just make sure to enjoy the auction. It's a once in a couple times a year the auctions happen. So make sure to enjoy it because they're very special events in our community.
I mean, to be fair, I have like Gary on my side who has like had like more than, let me lie, like 20 auctions at minimum, since he like managed a lot of like non-official tournaments and also official ones, so he knows like that auctions are in and out. And even though like I might be a little nervous, I have like a very like experienced co-manager on my side, who like also since we like talked together about the stuff I think is interesting. He also told me the stuff and the players who he thinks is interesting. So even though I'm alone in this podcast, in the auction I will not be alone. So we will do that well. I just like to be a drama queen.
No worries. I'm a chronic overthinker for auctions as well when I've prepared. So I definitely feel you there. But yeah, those were all of the questions that I've had. But typically at the end of these auctions, I try to have a little fun, let the audience know a little bit more about the individual through their answer choices through this set of lightning round questions. So if you want to participate in that, we can do those if you want to.
Sure, I would love to.
All right, so I'm just gonna give you like 2 different things, and you just tell me which one you would prefer. All right, so the first one, Scald or Knockoff?
Knockoff.
All right. U-turn or Baton Pass?
Okay, I have a question. Baton, why is this question here? Baton Pass is literally banned in this tournament.
I think Dry Pass is actually...
No, Dry Pass is banned as well.
Oh, they
if I'm
banned
mistaken, I think Baton Pass is a move is banned. But to answer the question, it's U-turn.
Yeah, I just meant more so as like a pivot move.
I see.
Yeah. Toxic or Will-O-Wisp?
Will-O-Wisp for sure.
Hurricane or Bleakwind Storm?
Oh my god. Okay. Can I elaborate or do I just say the answer?
You can elaborate if you want, yes.
Okay. I think it's always Hurricane if you're not a setupper. If you only have it as a coverage, Hurricane is in my opinion better, but if you setupper and you need to hit, more Bleakwind is better. Since confusion is fun.
I like the justification there. High jump kick or steel beam?
Wait. Okay. Oh my god. I expected CC. I mean, high jump kick. I don't know anybody will steel beam once, at least for draft.
Yeah, I mainly chose this one because if you miss the move, it does 50% health to yourself.
Oh wait. Okay. I think isn't steel beam like just straight up stronger? Isn't like steel beam 140 and high jump kick 130?
Yeah, so it's a bit stronger.
Oh my god, I play too much almost anything ability. That move has recoil. No, then it's high jump kick for sure. That's not even a question.
I guess since you brought it up, high jump kick or close combat?
CC unless cards matter.
I think I would almost never use high jump kick. I hate that move, even though it's.
Oh, I play a lot of auras, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, I've always missed high jump kick, so I just don't bother using it anymore. And it's ironic because my username has basically part of the move in my name. Rapid spin or defog?
Oh my god. Neither. Is that an answer? No, I think if I have to choose, probably defog.
Alright. Stealth rocks or spikes?
Those questions are hard because it all depends on the generation, so let me think overall.
If you want to factor in a particular generation for your answer, you can go ahead.
No,
or you
that's
can
fine. I think
factor
rocks.
all of them.
I like rocks. I play no boots generation as well as rocks are broken.
Alright. Regenerator or magic guard?
Regen. I didn't even need to hear the second option. Regen.
Alright, terastallization or Z moves?
For sure, terrestrialization, for sure.
And then the last one, Garchomp or Landorus Therian?
Oh my god, I have so many drafts where I just pick both. Both incredible. Oh my god, that's tough. Yeah, I like older generations Lando more, in newer generations I actually like Chomp more. So yeah, that's my answer. I can't decide. They're both my babies. I love them.
That's fair. That's fair. I saw a lot of people lean towards. I think Landers. A lot of people lean towards just because like it's easier to fit into a draft for most people.
I mean, this is a fair assumption.
But yeah, those were the end of my lightning round questions. I appreciate you participating in that.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity then.
But yeah, if you guys are still watching, thank you, and give some thanks in the comments down below to manager Sylvie, and wish them luck in the upcoming auction. This will probably come out. I'll probably release it the minute I edit it, so people just have it up until the auction start time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I believe signups are closed at this point, so I'll probably not have.
Yeah,
that
they are closed. They are closed.
Yeah, I probably won't have that in the description, but make sure to catch the auction live at I believe it's 10 a.m. GMT minus 4 or Eastern time for you
It's 4
Americans.
p.m. GMT plus 2.
Yeah, 4 p.m. GMT plus 2. And yeah, good luck with the auction, and good luck to any of those who end up getting drafted.